Hi, my name is Miana Faye, and I am a member of the Oglala, Lakota, and Northern Cheyenne Nations. I am the Creative Program Assistant/Organizer for Black Hills Clean Water Alliance. Welcome to our Clean Water Connections podcast, Keeping Black Hills Water Alive. Our podcast is coming to you from the heart of the Black Hills. In Lakota, we say, Wachante Ognaka, the heart of everything that is. Our podcast is hosted by Black Hills Clean Water Alliance, and our mission is working to stop radioactive and destructive mining pollution in our precious waterways. Today we will be talking about Black Hills Clean Water Alliance and the history behind it. Our guests today will be Dr. Lilius Jarding and Carla Ray Marshall.
Good day. Thank you, Miana. Yeah, I'm here with Black Hills Clean Water Alliance. I'm one of the founders of the organization, and we founded the organization in 2009 in response to the reappearance of the proposals to mine uranium in the Black Hills. And at that time, there were 11 companies looking for uranium in the Black Hills, and some of us had clear memory of the last time uranium was sought in the Black Hills back in the 1970s. And we responded in the 1970s by forming Black Hills Alliance, which was also a diverse organization with a broad base in the community. And the Black Hills Alliance lasted for several years. We opposed and defeated the uranium companies that were coming into the area. And so that experience led us to understand that it is possible for determined citizens to oppose multinational companies and to win. So when we formed Black Hills Clean Water Alliance in 2009, it was just a few volunteers, and a lot of people worked really hard to try to get the issue on the map for people, to make it so that people were paying attention to protecting our water. And it took a few years for that to really happen, but it did happen. And today we work to protect water from gold mining in the Black Hills, from lithium mining that's popping up now, and from rare earths mining in the Wyoming side of the Black Hills. So we have an office in Rapid City and a small staff, and we are moving forward. So what is important about our efforts is that water doesn't protect itself in the sense that mining companies come in and, people have to stand up and fight back. And our organization is designed to bring people together from as many backgrounds as we can in the Black Hills. And we have a very diverse group of people that attend our meetings at this point in history. So it is important that those people work together because that's what's worked in other places. That's what worked here in the 1970s, is that people work together and that they very firmly say, no, protect the water, no new large-scale mining. So that's what we do, and we are involved in a variety of different ways, which I can talk about later if we want to do that later. So the Black Hills is a really unique place. If you've never been here, it's surrounded by the Great Plains, and the northern Great Plains go on for the central Black Hills and the southern Black Hills. And what we have currently is that there are a number of gold companies that are active in the northern Black Hills and a rare earths company, as I mentioned, in the northwestern Black Hills. In the central Black Hills, there are a couple more gold companies that have large amounts of claims. And that area is specifically notable because it feeds the water that goes into Rapid Creek, which is the water supply for Rapid City, which is the second largest city in the state, and also for Ellsworth Air Force Base, which is a large Air Force base. And then it flows down into the Cheyenne River, which has many rural and reservation communities along it that use the water for ranching and agriculture and municipal supply. And then it goes into the Missouri River, So the water that we have here flows all the way through the Missouri River and the Mississippi River to the Gulf of Mexico eventually. So we're an important source water area, both for surface water and for groundwater. The South Black Hills, Southern Black Hills, is where we are seeing the current uranium activity. There's a company that's been trying to get going there for mining for over a decade, and they've been stopped so far. There are also recently a few lithium companies that have come in. 3 of them are operating in the Black Hills, in the southern part of the hills. So we have threats in the northern, central, and southern Black Hills. And the Black Hills really aren't that big. They're about 60 miles by 100 miles. So to have all this activity on a total of 202,000 acres of active mining claims is a lot. And it's over 16% of the total Black Hills is under active mining claims. So we're concerned, and we started taking action, and we have been keeping very busy with that over the last 13 years. And on a personal basis, I moved to the Black Hills in 1979 to fight uranium mining with the Black Hills Alliance, which I was talking about earlier. And the things that brought me here were, first of all, the beauty of the place, and second, the political importance of the place, and third, the opportunities to do outdoor recreation things that I like to do, like a lot of hiking and camping at that period in my life. And so there was a lot here that I was interested in. And I had heard about the efforts to stop uranium mining from where I lived at that time in Wisconsin, and was just fascinated by this struggle that was going on against these large multinational corporations like Exxon and Conoco and Phillips and Union Carbide, and just this sort of ragtag bunch of citizens from different walks of life, indigenous people and ranchers who were non-Indian, and some environmentalists, which was just sort of a new thing to be an environmentalist and call it that. And so this sort of ragtag bunch of people got active and brought 11,000 people to an event here in 1980, the International Survival Gathering. And that interest of mine in terms of the political activity has carried on to the present, and I've lived other places in between, but I have always done something to try to protect water, whether it's to protect it from nuclear sites, to protect it from hazardous waste sites, to protect it from oil spills. I mean, that's just been sort of what I've done since then. So for me, this is an obvious extension of the things that I've been doing for the last 40 or 45 years, and we want to make sure, keep the focus on protecting the water, because the water is the base of the economy here, of the ability to live here, of our communities. If we don't have plentiful, clean water, we can't be here, and neither can the wildlife. And so it's a very important situation. Rapid Creek is particularly important because it's a blue ribbon trout fishery in the central Black Hills. But all the waterways in the Black Hills flow to the east and into the Missouri River. So it's an important place. I'm honored to be active here, and I am glad that we have a lot of other people who are also active here. So with that, I'll pass it along.
Thank you, Miana, for bringing us to the table here. And my name is Carla Ray Marshall, and I am a enrolled member of the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe. I live here in Chesapa in Rapid City. My relatives are, like I said, up in Cheyenne River, the Mestis Marshall clan up there, and also the Mestis clan down in Oglala or Pine Ridge. My involvement with being part of Black Hills Clean Water Alliance is that I started following Black Hills Alliance back in the late 70s and helping with some of the actions that they were doing. I got a real connection to my spirituality back in the late 70s, being at home and being around people that would go to different cultural gatherings. But I think it was back home that I really made the connection with Minnie. Minnie is very important. Like one of my mushkes would say, you know, this was our first medicine. We were born from water. Our bodies are made of water. So water is alive. I believe that. I believe that the natural waters we have here, it is alive and it needs to be protected. Here in the Black Hills, it's very important to me because we spent a lot of time out here when I was young, as a child. My dad was in the Air Force, and so we used the base out here. My mother went to school at Black Hills State, so I spent a lot of time in Spearfish. We would ride the rapids, Spearfish Creek. So my whole being is to protect water, and protect water from these mining interests is huge. I also look to protect our water from consumerism or single-use plastics, and mining is part of some of the consumerism too. Not so much the plastics, but you need all the metals and stuff to make these plastics too. So this is all connected. So one thing about the Black Hills, the Chesapa, the heart of everything that is that we need to protect this land. This is treaty territory land. Under the 1851-1868 Fort Laramie treaties, this land was from the east bank of the Missouri River all the way to the Rocky Mountains. These lands were under treaty. And with the finding of gold in Montana first came encroachment. So here in the Black Hills, the water is very important, of course. It's we've got major bedrock aquifers in the region. Those are the Spearfish, the Minilusa, the Minikata, the Madison, Deadwood, and Ianchaga. So underneath the Black Hills, you have all these aquifers or groundwater, call them underground lakes, however you want to call that. But those are in need of being recharged. Those are very important. Even the U.S. Geological Society or Geological Survey says that the Madison and Minilusa are the two most important aquifers in the Black Hills area because of the utilization for water supplies and important influences of surface water resources resulting from large springs and stream flow loss zones. So we're not only protecting the above water, the creeks and the tributaries and the little springs, we also protecting the aquifers. Because some of these mining companies want to come in and they want to use the water from the aquifers, or they want to use water from the creeks and streams. They also, like with the uranium mining, the proposed uranium mining down in the southern Black Hills, southwestern Black Hills, called the Dewey Burdock area, they want to inject what they consider, the mining company consider as brine or salt water. It's just salt water, they were saying. But it's not. It's a lot of other toxicities that they would be pulling water up from one aquifer, injecting it into another one. So these companies, they want to come in and contaminate our water. I mean, they've done it in the past already. Since the 1872 Mining Act, there has been mining going on. However, back in 1872, they violated the treaties, for one thing. The U.S. government came in and said, well, we can't handle all our people, miners and the settlers, and them coming in here to look for gold or to want to settle the Black Hills. They basically started, massacring. It was a genocide, pushing the Lakota people not only Lakota people, but there's 16 other tribal nations that have a spiritual connection to the Black Hills. But they started coming in and saying, nope, you guys have to move out. We're not going to protect you. Because that was one of the things under the treaties, is that the United States government was supposed to protect the land from encroachment by white people, from settlers, from, these miners. But when they found gold here in the Black Hills in 1874 in French Creek, then, they came in full force. So there was massacres going on. There was a Sand Creek massacre. There was, later on there was the Wounded Knee massacre. We were able to have a great victory at the Battle of Little Bighorn, or they call it the Greasy Grass, over in Montana. But right now, so this encroachment is still happening. However, back to the 1872 Mining Act, when that was passed, you had miners coming in, buying up mining claims. So the Bureau, at that time, they were saying, well, we'll sell you a mining claim. You buy a mining claim, which was 20 acres. The miners come in and they set up a post put some rocks around there and put a paper on this. That's their claim. However, there was a lot of claim jumpers. There was murders. They were murdering their own because they wanted that claim. So there was a lot of illegal stuff going on within their own. But at the same time, it's like back then it was pick and axe. They come in, they do a pick and axe, shovel, whatever, and panning for gold too. History I found out, like with, you hear of these lakes in the Black Hills. Though they're not lakes, they're man-made dams actually. They're reservoirs. There was no natural lakes here in the Black Hills. The only lakes that we had in the Black Hills are underneath the aquifers. Those are our natural lakes. All the lakes that you hear about here in the Black Hills or go visit or go recreate in, those are man-made reservoirs. Pactola, Deerfield. So they basically dammed up Sheridan, yep. So they basically dammed up the streams. And way back when the surveyors and stuff came in, they looked at the Rapid Creek as a river because it was probably that large. When you think of river, you think of larger than what a creek is. So I think, right now we're just trying to protect the water that flows, that is here. We have to maintain this water. We have to protect it because we have a lot of wildlife here, and I care about the four-leggeds and the plants and the water. The water is alive and we have to keep it alive. So we have to...
The medicine.
Yes, exactly. Water is the medicine for everything. If we don't have clean water, we're not going to survive. In this day and age, we have water wars going on all around us. And if these companies continue to come in and contaminate our water through these mining operations, and there's a lot of, for these mining companies to come in, they want gold. They seek gold and lithium and rare earths, and you have all these materials, all this metal and stuff. They already have it out here in the consumerism realm of things. If people really take a hard look at how they're consuming, then I think that we can use what we already made. Because if we start digging up the land and start contaminating the water, we're not going to be able to use any of those materials that they want to make with this. So I think consumerism, need to take a really hard look at ourselves, but we also need to make a stand for the plant nations and those that cannot speak for themselves, which is the Wamakashka, which is the animals, the four-leggeds. They can't speak. And maybe they are speaking because, right now they're searching for water. We have a huge major drought going on. all over the world. So I think, make sure we got everybody on to help us to, stop these companies, and we have to do it through all these different agencies, and there's the state permitting process, there's the federal permitting process, there's all these county, permitting processes, there's, then municipalities. So you got 4 different agencies that we're trying to navigate through. One of the things that we try to educate and bring about awareness is on the mining claims. So when we say active mining claims, we don't mean that they are actually mining, but the claims under the Bureau of Land Management are active. So what that means is that these companies will come in. A mining claim is estimated about 20 acres. So when these companies come in, they will buy swaths of these mining claims. And so it could be 120 acres. So when you hear active mining claims, it means that these companies have purchased these claims and that they are now able, under the law, under the 1872 Mining Act, that they are able to come in and start exploring. And once the exploration is done and it's feasible for them, then they can turn around and sell it to a larger company and or mine that land themselves. So we're looking at a huge, huge amount of land that is potentially under threat of becoming large-scale mining.
Alrighty, that was Dr. Lilius Jarding and Carla Ray Marshall on the history of Black Hills Clean Water Alliance, our nonprofit organization here in the Black Hills community. We are made up of diverse individuals here in the community who are very passionate about keeping the water clean. And for more information, you could reach us at our website, bhcleanwateralliance.org, our Facebook, Black Hills Clean Water Alliance, and our Instagram and Twitter, which is BH Clean Water Alliance and BH Clean Water. Thank you, my relatives, and I hope you have a wonderful day, evening. Drink lots of water and take good care of yourselves.